I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I welcome everybody. And I'd like to call to order the meeting of the regular board for December 1st of 2022. And I ask the clerk to do a roll call, please.
Mr. Erickson? Mr. Erickson?
Here.
Mr. Christian?
Here.
Mr. Morse?
Here.
Mr. Begg?
Here.
Ms. Matt?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Here. I would ask for approval for the minutes of the November 10th meeting, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Begg. Do we have a support?
Second by Christians.
Moved and supported by Mr. Beggs and Mr. Christians. Are there any comments or corrections on the minutes as presented? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Conflict of interest disclosure regarding any agenda items. Hearing none, are there any changes to the agenda? We have a couple things that we are going to take off the agenda. We're not going to act on it. We'll do that as we go through, if that's okay with the board members. We'll handle those as we go through.
I make a motion we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Do we have a support?
Support.
Mr. Erickson, was it?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment? John?
No, sir.
Thank you, and thank you for staying, John. Mr. Beggs, letter of understanding, number 2022-31.
Make a motion 2022-31 to approve the letter of understanding between the Oceana County Sheriff, Oceana County Board of Commissioners, and the Police Officers Association of Michigan pertaining to lateral transfers and salary placements as it relates to prior experience.
Thank you, Mr. Beggs. Do we have a support?
Support.
Ms. Mayad, support by Ms. Mayad. Any discussion or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Beggs?
Yes.
Ms. Matt?
Yes.
Mr. Christian?
Yes.
Mr. Morse?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
And Mr. Walker?
No, for previous stated reasons. Motion passed. Thank you. The next one, honoring the high school cross-country team, we will take up at the next meeting. MERS supplement payment, we will also take that up at the next meeting. I'm sorry, in January. And Mr. Erickson, a budget amendment, number 2022-34.
Mr. Walker, I move to approve the budget amendment 202201 in the amount of $76,355 to amend the fiscal year 2022 budget for several funds.
Do we have a support?
I'll support Beggs.
Moved by Mr. Erickson, support by Mr. Beggs. Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
Mr. Beggs?
Yes.
Ms. Matt?
Yes.
Mr. Morse?
Yes.
Mr. Christian?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, thank you. John, if you need a copy of those specific lines, I'll give you one afterwards.
Okay.
Ms. Mayette, transfer station, motion number 2022-35.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve an increase to the transfer station fees for box springs and mattresses from $7 each to $20 each.
Thank you. Do we have a support?
I'll support that. Morse.
Moved and supported by Mr. Morris. Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Matt?
Yes.
Mr. Morse?
Yes.
Mr. Christian?
Yes.
Mr. Beggs?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Christian, revised 2022 appropriations report number 2022-36.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make the following motion, motion number 2022-36, to approve the revised year 2022 apportionment report of the Oceana County millage rates as calculated and compiled
by the Oceana County Equalization Department and authorizing the Oceana County Equalization Director to complete and sign the Michigan Department of Treasury Form L-4402, which will be submitted to the Michigan Department of Treasury in a timely fashion.
Thank you, Mr. Christians. Do we have a support?
I'll support.
Thank you, Mr. Beggs. Moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Christians?
Yes.
Mr. Beggs?
Yes.
Mr. Morse?
Yes.
Ms. Matt?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Morris, payment of claims.
Yeah, and just want to point out again, as Tracy or Ms. Byer already did earlier, that this is different than the packet that you received earlier this week. Ambulance fund, and can you say again what it is that's different?
It was the bottom,
Just the grand
the
total.
very bottom, yeah, the very bottom total.
Yeah.
Because they made some adjustments to the brownfield,
Yeah.
which is some new lines.
Okay. Yeah, so ambulance fund total is $3,050.06. FOC fund, $4,476.56. Pentwater Heart Trail Fund total, $1,949.81. Brownfield Redevelopment Authority is $1,460.85. Automation ROD Fund total, $2,164.50. Indigent Defense Fund total, $32,226.08. K-9 Unit Fund, $323.02. ARPA Fund total, $34,755. Department of Veteran Affairs total, $11,656.69. Technology and Innovation Fund total, $15,530.05. Capital Project Equipment Replace Fund total is $2,514. Foreclosure Fund total is $6,300. Thank you. $6,359.05. Building Department Fund total $19,867.64. For a grand total, general fund total of $625,528.77 for a grand total of $761,862.08.
Do we have a support?
I will support Christians.
Thank you, Mr. Christians. We have a motion and support. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Morse?
Yes.
Mr. Christians?
Yes.
Mr. Beggs?
Yes.
Ms. Matt?
Yes.
Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
And Mr. Walker?
Yes, thank you. Reports from department heads and commissioners. Mr. Morris?
Yeah, I'll start. Craig and I were working on, Hardy and I were working on the board rules, and Ms. Byard and Mr. Walker were also working on them. So we have a final first draft that I've sent to them and to Craig. And so I presume in the next couple of weeks you'll get a copy of that so that you can read that over for us to discuss. There are some things, I mean, a lot of it's the same, but it is totally different format. It's actually Grand Traverse County's format. It includes the MCLs, which I think Craig and I both thought has some value. So yeah, you'll be getting those soon. Ron Maynard has resigned as the executive director of The Right Place, Oceana County's version of it. Disappointed by that, but hopefully it's for the better. You know, I'm always hoping when things change like that, it is for the better. We are interviewing today at 3 o'clock somebody that actually lives just in Montague, just south of Oceana County. And then I encourage you to take the surveys, the master plan survey here, if you're not going tonight. I think you all received one of these copies. And then there's also a Parks and Rec survey online. If you could fill that out too, that would be great. It's 10 minutes. It really is a pretty doable survey. I haven't filled this one out yet, but please do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Mr. Christian?
Yes, sir, Mr. Walker. I will try to be brief, but Mr. Morris and I were able to attend the Windsor-Dick meeting, which is our West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission. It was last Monday. It was in Fremont, Michigan, well attended. One of the things that we asked and were clarified was, do we need 2 commissioners to serve on their board? And the answer at this time is yes, per their bylaws.
Right.
Okay? And I can't say
We asked about a representative that's not on the board, just because we're going down to 5, and alternate, but she said no, it has to be a commissioner.
Yeah,
Sorry-
we
sorry to
explained our
interrupt.
situation that the commissioners here in Oceana were dropping down to 5, and that it was gonna be an additional burden to get 2 full commissioners on board. But I don't think that you're gonna have a lot of choice. It's gonna have to go with 2. I can't say enough of, and I wish Gary McKean has left, so, you know, when we talk about Marshfield Dam and Stony Lake, but Wimserdick is now involved with our countywide broadband program. Muskegon Lake, they have won several national awards in regards to what work that they have done with the renovation of Muskegon Lake, the cleaning up, so forth. They're working with GIS and mapping. They're working with master plans, such as what's happening tonight. So I commend Erin Kuhn, who's the executive director, and her staff, and what a great job that they are doing. There are only 11 people in her staffing, and they are involved with all 5 counties and doing an outstanding job. So we mentioned the master plan meeting tonight. Couple other quick notes: encouraging a monthly newsletter of some sort from Oceana County, and I wonder if that didn't show up a little bit the other night or last night at Colfax, of wanting more information of what's happening on a county level. And I think to disseminate that down to the various township supervisors would be a huge plus when it comes down to communicating from county level down to the local governments.
We are sending them the information from our meetings now.
Okay,
They're
and
getting
there's,
they're getting the minutes from our meetings now, the township supervisors.
okay, they are getting that, okay.
Yeah.
And it's on, a lot of information on the website as well. But, okay.
Well, we do plan to do a newsletter eventually.
Yeah, we talked about
With, and Jessica, since she's new in the I mean, not new, but she's still learning some of the ropes, and eventually that's where we want to focus that newsletter eventually, once we get her situated.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson?
Mr. Walker, I guess the thing I'd really like to touch on right now is our medical care. And Mr. Walker and I did meet with Larry Van Sickle, the chair of our medical care board, and also Corey Hansen, our medical care administrator. We had a very productive meeting, and this was in reference to the appearance that was made here in front of us a couple weeks ago. Attraction and retention have been the biggest problems at our medical care. It is very difficult to fill those RN positions, and the lifestyle and culture in that building is such that the fortunate ones with the experience are first shifters, and the third shifters like the third shift. It's very difficult to fill the second shift, the waking hour shift after first shift's gone. So there have been these contract labor hires that have been made outside of the area to bring RNs in. CNAs are also another shortage that we've had, filling that second shift. They're working on it, working through this. We're in contract negotiations right now, so we will know more as that progresses and how we'll be able to fill and procure the employees necessary to run our medical care. A couple of the highlights, though, that have come from the meeting I had last week is that Monday morning, very fortunate that this past month We only suffered a $39,000 loss, where we were looking at $139,000 losses per month. Corey does everything on a year-to-year comparison. So this year compared to 2021, our revenues are up 21%. We've been able to fill more beds. We're running at a census right now of about 80 beds are full. The expenses, because of trimming, from year to year are down 23%. That's one of the reasons we're seeing a very positive trend happening right now. We're losing less, we're earning a little bit more, the beds are fuller, we have the employee retention issue that's been the biggest problem. We also have a fund at the Community Foundation that, you know, like all other financial instruments in the last 6 months have taken a very heavy hit, but we do expect to see that our Community Foundation in time will recover from that financial loss that we've experienced. The positives are that the census is holding steady, going up. Masking is only necessary from the front door to your loved one. After that, you're able to remove your mask. There have been incidents of COVID on the floor. They've been able to control and contain those. Overall, we see a positive trend. I was very, very concerned, you know, when we were losing heavily month after month, but I feel much better about our medical care right now. And at our Department of Health and Human Services on Polk Road, we're running a little short on staff there. Our reports have come in very well in compliance with the state of Michigan. The major problem that we see on this side of the state, our neighboring counties have a much heavier load than we are. So we're helping with Muskegon, and we also work with Mason County in the Department of Health and Human Services. But those people are getting back to work, and they were out of the building. You know, they're all working from home for quite some time. So things are making the turn there. The other thing, that last week I was up in Cadillac at our Health Department 10 meeting. Very, very productive meeting. We are seeing a few things in District 10 now. It's the largest geographical health department in Michigan. We cover more bases than anyone else, but my understanding is we should be able to see an opening of a dental clinic in Hart again. That is in the process. And also the related services at our health department through the COVID period have seemed to fallen off right now. There's a vaccination hesitancy out there right now among the population, and one of the concerns that they are seeing is that there is even hesitancy for the polio vaccination. So depending on how our society gears up for these different things, there may be in the future a need for reduced personnel. So they've already seen this change has started to happen among the health departments in Michigan. But we are very fortunate. Oceana County, we've got a very strong office. We do deliver services to our citizens. The office doors are open now. What we're also seeing is our health officer, Mark Hill, more septic permits, more well permits. We're still studying the PFAS that we've got out east, Eagle, Ottawa, down in the Hesperia. That is starting to level off, I'd say, so to speak. They're doing more well testing. There are some individuals that do not want their wells tested, but that should be handled here, you know, through further testing. We'll know more about our PFAS problem out east. But Courtney Garcia, local Oceana County residents, was there for our board meeting in Cadillac, and she gave a presentation that she's been doing. It's a keep out room that's available to any parental group through our health department. Courtney would come and give her presentation, but it was very interesting when we came in as a board and sat down, and you've got to remember there's 20 board members there. She gave a presentation on a safe room, so there was a bedroom set up, and there was the dresser and the table and clothing and many articles in the room. But Courtney gave this presentation that showed what to look for in your child's bedroom. And the drug culture now, alcohol drug culture, has changed tremendously, and the retail Amazon items that kids are buying right now to hide their product and to the pills, everything else that's happening in the system. Courtney gave an extremely informative presentation that I would recommend any parental group to engage Courtney to come and to give that bedroom walkthrough, to look at the things that are going on right now, and some of it's was startling for me. I hadn't thought of some of the things these kids are thinking of, but they're all doing it, and we're seeing more and more issues. A lot of them are a result of the COVID period. You know, kids behave differently. They were home more doing different things. So I would suggest any parental group should get a hold of the health department, Courtney Garcia. It's an excellent program that should be seen by every parent. Things to look for, things to notice in your household. And Gary McKean, the Parks and Rec, we've got that this afternoon, 3 o'clock here. Gary has just been absolutely wonderful. You know, we've seen him through the last 2 years here as this board has, and Gary has spent a tremendous amount of personal time on that, taken a very strong interest in the Crystal Valley Dam, which, irregardless of whether there's money out there or not, the pratfalls that we have in front of us with that real estate and with the reversion of any properties or all of the above, the people of Crystal are still anxious to keep their dam. And you know, we kept Gales Pond. We put sheet in there and made that work. We've spent millions of dollars of ARPA money, and the taxpayers of Crystal, to my knowledge, from the feedback I'm getting from them, don't want to lose their dam. And their supervisor, Lee Heislip, has been extremely active out there trying to make things happen. They also have a transfer problem issue. They've got a small private transfer group there, and they have their own transfer station, but that's running at a tremendous deficit in that township, and the township is actually subsidizing the fact that the dumpsters are there, and they're having quite a bit of difficulty there with that budget. There's nowhere near the income coming in for their transfer station there. So that's the biggest thing.
You've been busy.
Hmm?
You've been busy.
I love it. Learning a lot more. You know, the last 2 years have been a challenge for everyone, but the employee attraction and retention issue across the board is our biggest challenge. It's and being the, you know, we're not the poorest county in the state. Everybody says this, you know, second poorest county. Well, however you look at it, I feel we're probably the richest county in the state with our agriculture, our summer season, our resort, our tourist trade, and our low population density. We're very fortunate that we're not the big city, and I don't like being compared to the big city when we have so much more to offer here, and hopefully we'll be able to attract and retain people that like our lifestyle better than this downtown Grand Rapids or Muskegon or a more metropolitan setting. And those mills are right, sir. I took a good look at those, and you know, we're fortunate we have so many non-homestead residents and so many taxpayers from out of our county that have resort properties up here. Their taxes pay a lot of the freight around this place, so we are fortunate. And you know, we're the largest apple slicers in the world, and we had an excellent apple crop this year, absolutely excellent. Looks like all of our carrots are gonna get pulled.
I was just ask the chair if I could ask you a question, actually.
I thought you guys were waving at each
No.
other.
It's getting
Well,
pulled.
I just remembered, so back to the medical care conversation you had with Corey and them. Do you feel like the concerns of our guests that couple times ago were addressed, or were?
The thing that I left them with was the work they do is appreciated. They were thanked for what they do over there, and that we would have a conversation with the management at the medical care facility. There were no promises, but we have fulfilled what we told them we would do.
Okay.
Mhm.
But you
Are
feel
we
like-
gonna make everybody happy? No,
Right.
but they came to us and we took it to the only place we could take it to.
And they heard it, you feel like they?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
And they listened, they were very open-minded.
Oh, it's.
They were very open-minded.
To be honest with you, with this medical care thing, you know, losing 140,000 every month, and I've said it here in these meetings, very concerning of what's our cash gonna get us to, and at what point in time are we going to have to, you know, surrender to a private buyer, or are we, you know, gonna have to increase our millage, or are we, all of the aboves. It's tremendous what the challenges are there, but 80 beds being filled has been helpful. And now the challenge is to increase the bed census back up to the 100 that we're used to. We don't have the staff right now to get there, so this will be an incremental grow that we'll have to go through, so we'll have enough staff to handle more beds.
Mr. Beggs,
I have nothing to report at this time.
Ms. Mayette,
Me either, thank you.
and Paul, I'm gonna be, I'll be, and thank you, Paul. I'm gonna be real quick. We have a meeting, Paul, next week at the at the County Services Building with Life EMS and the Medical Control Board. And I have a copy of the contract that I'm gonna go over, and I will get it to you, you know, or give you the highlights in it of our agreement with Life. I have to read it again. At the transfer station, there's one thing that I want you to be aware of, that as we move forward with this partnership with American Canisters, we will be responsible to clean up the boats, the fiberglass boats, the travel trailers, and all of the things that are out there that probably shouldn't have been out there. But I don't expect American Classic to come in and have to deal with those. They have given us a price on some of those.
I think it was 5,500.
Yeah, but then they brought more boats in since they gave us a
Yeah.
price. So we will have a cost.
Ron's gotta stop bringing his boats into there, is that what you're
They
saying?
melt down the fiberglass, maybe use it for Bondo or something on car repair.
So at the next meeting, prepare yourself, and if anybody wants to get detailed information after the first of the week, you'll be able to get it from Brian, our maintenance man. The water problem in the basement, Brian had talked about where they're gonna cut out the walls and, you know, the floors and put drains in there. Either Ayers or American or Great Lakes watering people, you see them on TV, one or the other came in, and I think it's Great Lakes, came in and they have an ejection system where they inject on the outside of all of the walls around, and you can look on their website and see what they do. When you get it in your packet that there's a proposal from them, go to their website, and they have a nice video on how they go on the outside of basements, and they wanna come in the courtyard and inject all the way around and seal it off.
It was something in pipes,
Yes,
was the name of the company.
and that's a different one.
Oh,
The
okay, that
different
was the
one
different
was
one.
Pressures and Pipes.
Okay.
Came in and looked at our chiller. Pressures and Pipes
Okay.
was one along with Lasco that I asked Brian to reach out to. He had the price from one. Pressures and Pipes said they will not touch it because there is a odd type of, I said earlier, I'm not an electrician, there's an odd type of electrical system in there. It's a 243 phase. Is that possible, Tim?
Mhm.
And that's pretty big stuff.
Yeah.
And they said it comes direct line, right off a direct line right into us, and doesn't go through any It goes right into a junction box, and they said they don't touch that. They're not, and they had Wirtz Electric come up and look at it, and they just said, holy smokes. Well, because we have that, information, Brian is going back to the people who originally bid it and asked them if they were aware of the electrical, because we all know that if they come in and start working on it and aren't aware of it, we're gonna pay for it anyway.
Yep.
And we need the prices right up front. So Brian has those two things for us, along with issues at the health department. The health department needs a new synthetic roof on it. Brian is getting costs on synthetic roof, and one of the heating units took a catastrophic failure up on the roof of there, and Brian has 2 quotes on that. He's getting the 3rd quote for us on it. All of these are gonna come back at the next meeting. Martha, you, Chair of Building and Grounds, do you want Brian to send you copies of all of the things ahead of time when he gets them? When I get them, I'll make sure you get them.
Thank you.
You know, I'll make sure you get them, but, it's probably gonna be a long meeting for us next, meeting, you know, because we have a lot of things to go over. at
Well,
the
we
end.
wanna make sure our 2 outgoing commissioners, you know, we make sure we send them off well, so.
We wanna get our $30 worth.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, well,
Mr. Chairperson,
yes.
I also failed to mention, the 911 Mason Oceana Board that meets on a monthly basis. I was able to attend their meeting in November. They are working hard on encryption. They have gone ahead with a green light, if you will. They will start by changing and augmenting the consoles. There are 4 consoles in the dispatch center. So it will affect only police conversations or communications, not fire, not some of the other related information that goes out, but the actual police voice will be encrypted. They're looking at roughly $55,000, and they moved to go ahead. Second thing, Mike Overly with MERS Company. Tracy, I don't know if you've had any conversations. He is out of Lansing, and he did about a 1-hour presentation, but boy, did I learn a lot about MERS and the 90% thing that you want to float with, and it's complicated, but might be some to have him, and some other day, Aaron Kuhn would love to come up too and do a presentation, so, Windsor.
Thank you, Ron.
Sorry.
Last thing that I will tell you was an issue came up, and I had Tracy send a email to our attorney that until we get the issue resolved, there would be no more chargeable time with the attorney. And it was a matter of a department head going right directly to the attorney when he works for the Board of Commissioners. And there was an issue, and it's been probably 6 weeks since you sent that out. 4 or 6 weeks. He has not responded. He's not answered anything.
Our attorney?
Our attorney.
Oh.
So I asked Tracy to reach out to the attorney law firm she knows in Lansing that she talked about before. Bob Sobey had a very difficult time getting a hold of this attorney when he was here. He doesn't work on Fridays, and he's semi-retired. Bob had a problem. Tracy, do you want to comment on getting a hold of him?
Just to say that this attorney that I used to work with, they deal strictly with county government, nothing else. They do not have a private practice outside of that, so it's all county government related. They have several county clients, so they do opinions for other clients, so a lot of times you don't get billed for them creating a document that they've already created for another county.
But
I have contacts and
would you say it's been less than favorable with you trying to reach the attorney that we have now?
well, I've talked to him once, I think, since I've been here, and that was here in the hallway.
So, and so, I've just asked Tracy to reach out. We can't keep going on like this. And this is a discussion that we had, Martha knows. We had this, how long is he going to be in the, practicing? Cause he sold his practice and he's working for another firm. And the charging rates doubled when we did that. Paul said he knows somebody, if we're, you know, a firm that he's, if we reach out, they'll all, each one of, if there are any law firms that are contacted about giving a proposal and telling us their background, all of those should be done by the county administrator. So if you know of somebody that you want to have, but I don't feel comfortable sitting here without getting an answer. When he didn't answer that email, that told me a lot. We just need to move forward. So Paul, if you wanna talk to Tracy later about, you
I
know,
will.
a
I'll forward.
contact, you know, or anybody else. Melanie, do you have anything for us?
I do now.
Thank you for
One
being
last
here.
thing. Melanie has had us live. We've been alive since we started this morning. I signed in this morning, and I was the only person watching this meeting for quite some time. And then there were two, and before we were done with the morning session, there were 3 people signed in.
One of them was
watching.
Craig Hardy, so.
And so that would have been Craig and I. And right now, at this point in time, Craig, there's just you and I watching us. So through all of the past year, with all of the disclosure, with all of what we have been working with and for, the room is empty and no one's watching.
Very, very good point, Ron. When townships ask what's going on at the county board and the meetings, everybody can tell that our meetings are live. If they wanna, you know, see what's going on firsthand. Tracy, do you have anything else for us?
Yes, I have 2 things.
Yes.
One, to let you know that the health department roof, you already approved that through ARPA funds. So I just double checked that. I wanted to make sure I thought that was the case. And then also, Ed Vandervries emailed me back about the apportionment, because I wanted to let him know that that was approved. And he said, has there been any more talk about the board, and if they would be willing to provide some funding with regards to the 3 or 6 aerial photography.
That, we have to have specific information on that. Yeah, I know he talked about how many, the resolution it was going to be and stuff. Yeah.
The answer is no, we haven't had any conversation.
No.
Right.
And some of us aren't real that, you know, for the returning board members, you have the assignments from last year, and you have the you know, the openings for next year. We'll have to get those outside, and I'm going to ask Tracy to email a copy of both of those to Craig, so he'll have a chance to fill them out, because we need those before the first of the year. John, that's the health department and Windsor Dick and all of the 27 different boards that we have to attend. If any of the board members feel as though they have a specialty in an area, they check the box, and then we try to divide them up, you know, equally.
Good luck with that.
Well, you know, there are some places that we can have a liaison, you know, assist us on them.
You want to volunteer?
Do you have an expertise area where you,
Conflict of interest.
do you have an expertise that you'd like to help us out and go to 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 of the meetings a month for it?
When I walk away,
I'm walking away.
But, John, thank you for being here. Do we have anything else to come before the board? Public comment. Public comment. We are adjourned. Thank you, John, and thank you for the fellow members and ladies. Thank
So
you.
what do I tell him? Just that you haven't even
We're
talked, or you
checking
haven't
first.
discussed
I
it?
didn't know if it
Yeah.
was
Oh, you've been doing great.
I'll throw my
No,
name in the hat
have
for legal
something
advice. I can
Oh,
give
I
you
tried
guys.
to.
You can't even pay me to do it.
I'm pretty cheap too,
Right.
there's no guarantees, but.
Tell him, the chair said we're bleeding money, we gotta watch what we're spending it on right now.
Well, I can tell you, now that we're